joining us at the Nuggets from Within podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm sitting at my mentee's piano. Welcome to the Nuggets from Within podcast. I am your host, Apostle Teresa S. Johnson. You know, music has always been a part of my life. I have always loved music from the 1970s to the 80s to the 90s. I'm talking about the Commodores, Jesus is Love. I'm talking about Mahalia Jackson, Amazing Grace. There are so many great songs, even down to Sad Eyes or anything like that, but I've always loved music. But you thought that this was something, didn't you? I know you did. That brings me to my topic, Silly Rabbit, Tricks for Kids. Now, you remember, those of you who remember growing up, you had this cereal, there was a cereal commercial called for Trix. It was a commercial for Trix where it was this rabbit. And the rabbit was constantly trying to trick the kids. And he wanted to trick them out of the raspberry red or the lemon yellow or the orange cereal. And it's interesting because as I'm thinking about how couples come together and how people come together, it's interesting how some people try to scheme through life. And when you join forces with one another, one would think, you would just think, that the childish schemes and the conniving efforts would come to a halt. You would think that you wouldn't take that mess into a marriage. But when tricks and schemes are permitted to enter into the marriage, guess what it causes? It causes a wedge. And you may not be thinking about it because we started off talking about some cereal. But the same thing we do in a simple analogy like that is what we do in marriage. What we do in a covenant relationship, what we do in a marriage, a covenant. And so the wedge has the possibility of becoming the size of a great gulf if you leave it unattended. And I think when this happens, it's a result of undealt with weaknesses, because there's some weaknesses going on both sides. And sometimes you'll think I'm the stronger one, I'm the weaker one, but everybody got some weaknesses. And so over time, if you're not careful, those weaknesses potentially open the door to negative spats. I'm talking about tit for tat. I'm talking about evil for evil. And don't mention the word game. And so one definition of tit for tat, because you do it, but you don't think about it and you don't know what it means. It's giving back exactly what one receives, blow for blow. I know y'all not still doing that. Or when you do that, it's intended as a verbal punch. I may not be able to hit you, but I'm going to punch you with my words. And it's often intended as a physical punch. And so I can't think of one person who does not want respect. I can't think of one person who does not want respect reciprocated. And so when people feel like they're not receiving their fair share, they retaliate. Now, we know that emotional spats can be damaging. And we also know that some people believe that if you cannot relate to the grief that I'm feeling right now or the grief that you have caused me, then I'm going to show you exactly what that grief feels like. It's not fair, but it's tit for tat. And then also, I've heard it said, I can show you far better than I can tell you. Because actually, no one wants to be on the receiving end of a tit for tat fight. And so we've seen some fights, they are dirty. And what you did does not always resemble what you get in return. Somebody used to say to me, you can't tell me how to fight. You can't tell me which weapons to use when I get into a fight. And so sometimes it's worse than what you did. Now, tit for tat it increases the chance of both spouses stooping to each other's level. I'm talking about each other's level of deceit. And evil for evil encourages destruction, and it invites dysfunction into the marriage. And so the word game, however you play it, it diminishes respect. And you look around and you wonder why he doesn't respect me. She doesn't respect me. Because you're flying off the mouth, saying all kinds of stuff, using words that you say you didn't mean, but you use them and they're harmful. Now, people say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Can I tell you? When I was young, a neighborhood boy purposely kicked me in the stomach. I'm telling you, it knocked the wind out of me. And I was bent over, could barely talk, but I still was saying, I'm going to get you. But I couldn't even move. But eventually, I recovered from that. And so, but I still had hurtful words from other people that reached my heart, leaving me wounded for years. Now, I forgot about the stomach ache, but I still remember those words that penetrated my heart. And so too many people live in denial of the impact of their words. And so when you are in denial, you will say anything. And as long as you feel good, the words that you release, you don't even care about them. And so if you want to avoid traveling down a rocky road and you want to leave the games for the kids, you can't keep playing tricks. You can't keep playing games because you're going to end up injured. You're going to end up hurt. Now, some roads, they have potholes. Some roads, they have manholes. And the last thing you need is to end up in either hole. And so we know that they can both lead to tremendous danger and damage. So I want to say to you, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. Leave the tricks to the kids. You're a grown woman now. You're a grown man now. And if you don't have nothing better to do, you get yourself this right here and you read it. In the meantime, God bless you. If you heard what I said, I know you did. I want you to like, share, and subscribe.